How's it going, guys? My name is Splattercat, and welcome to the next episode of our Towns LP. Where I had left off, I'd basically been about to go out on my excursion into the wilds and do a bunch of geological research work, and so that's left me somewhat on the wrong page coming back to this LP, but hopefully we can pick up our stride and I can figure out what I was working on and where we need to go with everything before time runs out. So today I think what I'd like to do is continue to fiddle with this temple over here. So we're gonna need a few more scaffoldings just so that I don't procrastinate. I really just want to hit the ground running on this one. I'm so excited to be back with you guys. I'm so excited that you've decided to join me here today, and this is officially the first episode that has not been pre-recorded in like a week and a half. And really the issue that I ran into with pre-recording these episodes, and this is kind of a behind the scenes kind of thing, is that when you pre-record episodes, the problem is you miss out on a lot of material. And what I mean by material is, like, for example, with Don't Starve, you end up missing entire update periods, and it's it's a letdown. It's a letdown. As someone that very much likes to showcase kind of the cool things that these games have to show off, losing my progress in that regard is kind of a bummer. But let's go ahead and we'll put in some more glass windows here, I guess. We'll do one more layer of glass. There we are. And as always, glass won't let you lay down multiple blocks at the same time, so I'm going to have to click through these uno by uno. So there we are. And move, boar. A mortally wounded boar. How did he become mortally wounded? Is he just like hanging up there, becoming starving or something? The Temple of Amok has slowly drained his soul power. That's what I'd like to think is happening. Down here at the bottom, you can see that I've started to fiddle with our towers. I mean, I've started to get the ground laid out so that everything will be where it needs to be. I'll probably put a second tower in like right here, and it'll run right in front of the temple. Then we'll do another one over here, and it'll run all the way up to here, and maybe even higher, actually. That last little tract of wall may be kind of long. It may be a bit of a task to get that all done. I'll probably do a grip of it, or at least a large chunk of it off camera. I haven't really decided what I want my workflow to look like for this. This is probably something that isn't going to happen on camera, though, just because this is a bit of the busy work, and I like to keep that off camera if I can. The downside to keeping busy work off camera is what happened in our not in our Towns LP, but what happened in our Don't Starve playthrough, where at the end of Season 2 I ended up getting gibbed off camera, which was very embarrassing. Don't mess with Angus McWalrus. That guy is a punk. That guy is seriously out for blood, and he bugged out on me and shot me even though he was way, way, way off camera. It's a known issue. I don't know if they fixed it now. I've been out of the loop for a little bit, and now that those windows are in place, I think that a 4-layer of windows will work out all right. Let's see here. There we are. Well, let's see. Let's see what we can do here. I'll cancel that out. And what I'll do is I'm just going to place, let's make sure I'm on the right layer here. Okay. I'm just going to do that, and all of the 3-space ones are going to be a little shorter. And all of these ones right here, well, I can't really do that just yet. Hold on. Let's not do that. There we are. So anyways, field work is hellish. I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's kind of an inverse property. I think it may be mathematical, but there's kind of an inverse relationship between toilet paper being biodegradable and how kind it is to your anus. And really, the toilet paper we had on this field excursion, we were probably, maybe 35, 40 miles from the nearest town, which really didn't even qualify as a town. It was more of a village. Like, it had like 20 citizens. Like, it had a bar, which was cool. I mean, there was a place to go drink and all that kind of thing. And there's like a date farm out there, like in the middle of nowhere. But really, the entire thing was, you know, it's not built for human existence. I mean, I almost got bit by rattlesnakes, like all kind of, and I'm not joking when I say that. Like, we legitimately had multiple members of our party assailed by rattlesnakes on multiple occasions. Those things are really just unprepossessing creatures. I don't know if you guys have ever had any experience with venomous serpents or vipers, but they are definitely grumpy. Like, really, if there's one thing you could say about that breed or that species, it is that they really just kind of fly off the handle easily. They have a hair trigger when it comes to staying amicable. In fact, if they even do attempt to be amicable in the first place. My rattlesnake I almost stepped on. He was about a 3.5, 4-footer. He's a pretty big rattlesnake. He was sleeping under a rock, and I stepped off, and right as I saw him, I had to leap across him and be like, oh god, oh shit, it's a rattlesnake. And unfortunately, he was sleeping, so he didn't wake up. I lucked out there, but then being the genius that I am, I decided to mess with him a little bit, and I kind of tossed a pebble in his direction because I wanted to see if he was dead or alive or not. I figured with the ruckus I had made landing, jumping off the rock, that quite possibly he was dead because I had made a lot of noise jumping over him, but it appeared, and let me do a save here because I am still having that crashing problem, so it allows me to edit a little bit easier, makes this whole thing flow a little nicer just in case we crash during the course of this episode. And anyways, as I was saying, I flicked a stone at him. A stone was flicked at him, and he woke up, and what was kind of funny is I wasn't really within his eye line, like he couldn't see me, but his tongue flicked out like one time. And for those of you that don't know, these vipers, well, all snakes anyways, they smell with their tongues. And he flicked his tongue out once, and he instantly became aware of where I was, and he lashed out in the direction I was, and I damn near shit myself. It was a, well, I'm not going to say terrifying experience because I knew that I was out of his strike range, but still, he was just a grumpy little critter. He was not a happy creature. And I prefer that my serpentine interactions be somewhat more friendly. Alas, we don't always get what we want. People in hell want ice cream, so we do what we can. We avoid getting bit. Another member of our party almost got bit. She almost sat on one. It was a little baby one that was hiding underneath a rock that she was sitting on, and yeah, it made a ruckus, rattled up. She jumped about 30 feet up in the air, had to get her eyebrows off the back of her head after that incident. It really, I mean, the rattlesnakes were out in force this year, and I don't mean to kind of ramble on and on about them, but man, they were everywhere. It was quite a dangerous trip, and if you weren't doing that, where you were kind of like 3.5, 3-point climbing up a mountain, I mean free climbing with backpacking gear and so forth, I lost about 8 to 9 pounds I think on this little excursion, on this little adventure. And so I'm pretty tired. I'm pretty exhausted, but I'm really happy to be back with you guys, and I apologize for kind of the break in the little video log here that I'm doing, but you know, I'm glad to be home. I really am. I'm glad to be home. I'm glad to be making videos. I did not know what to do in the field. Like, really, when we got back in, there was not a whole lot to do except sit and watch the desert blow by. So I'm excited to be back with my hobby, entertaining you guys, able to interact once again, because I felt bad. You guys left me a lot of comments while I was gone, and there was just so many that I really couldn't go back over a week and a half and kind of answer all of them. So I will be back from hereforth. From henceforth, I shall be available to answer your comments and your questions down below, so feel free to throw those out. This building right here is a bastard. This building is just really, it is just messing with my Christmas. It is basically bugged at the moment, so no matter what I do, even if I'm on the proper layer, so this is on layer 3, if I tell it to build, for whatever reason, the builders are still dropping things off the sides and refusing to build the third area of this building, so I'm not really sure how to fix that bug. I'm kind of just going to let it lie for now, and maybe I'll just keep it a really low altitude building and put a roof across it. Worst case scenarios, I'll just roof it off and it'll just be like a really short building. It'll be kind of stubby and blocky, and that'll be the best we can do. Other things that have changed here in the township of Boo, we've got a couple more citizens. We're at 35. I don't know if I was at 35 in the last episode. I didn't take the opportunity to go back and check, but maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. We have several heroes here. I believe all the heroes that we have now were available in the last episode. They are pretty well equipped, actually. The barbarians appear to have had some kind of change made to them where they're a little bit more powerful. They're a little more worthwhile. I mean, they're still kind of a terrible hero. You really don't want to put up with them, but it is what it is. Now, let's see here. I do want to start fiddling with possibly... well, we'll leave that for later. Let's take a look down here, and we're going to see... I'm trying to build this entire floor across right now before we go down to the next layer, so unfortunately, if you're looking for monster pounding action, we will, unfortunately, it will be unavailable in this episode because I don't think we're going to delve downwards just yet. We're going to save that for maybe the next episode. I don't really have it on the schedule just yet. This episode, I really feel like I'm kind of playing catch-up, just trying to remember what I had running. What you'll see here is I've put down a load of barrels. All of these barrels are enabled for stone. Now the reason that I have done this is if we take a look in the lower layer down here, let's see, there we are. You'll see that I have tons of stone over here, and actually I used a bunch of it. We only have 192, but the problem... now let me get it. It was actually going to mess with that. There we are. So now that that's been dropped, the problem was that by the time people ran down here, and then they crafted whatever they were going to craft out of this stone, they were starving and they were dying on me. And it became very, very frustrating. So what I've done now is I've put a bunch of storage barrels here. Hopefully there is some modicum or some iota of hauling taking place so that stone will always be ready and available for those who are about to head to the masonry and get some work done. I haven't figured out what I want to do at this spot right here. I had contemplated the idea of putting in a bunch of barrels just for holding mud and for holding stone and for holding just metals and things of that nature, but really it might look weird, and being the stickler for aesthetic appeal that I am, I decided to let it go. Over here, you'll see that I've laid down the floor plan entirely. This is going to be the religious motif of the Township of Boo, this kind of faux crucifix type deal that I've got going on here. I like it. I think it looks good. I had toyed with the idea of maybe filling in these corners right here and making them kind of turn inwards on themselves, but I think I'll leave it as is for now. We haven't lost any humans yet. None of our citizens have keeled off in the recent past, so really I haven't put in any sarcophagi or anything of that nature, although I think this will probably look very different in the months to come versus where we are now. We haven't had a siege in quite some time, which is making me a little bit apprehensive. It's making me a little bit nervous. Let me check my food supply as well. While we're talking about potential risks to our society. Oh, we have 50 cooked fish. We're magical. We are golden in the realm of fooderies, so we're good to go there. But I am worried about sieges. I haven't seen a siege in quite some time, so I'm really debating whether I want to wait it out or really what's going to happen when the siege decides to commence. So let's fill in the first layer here with stone. I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm using the stone bricks wall that looks kind of old. And there we are. We'll kind of just fill this in so that workers aren't running around. I noticed that a lot of my workers at the moment are just hauling, which means there's not a whole lot else to be done. They are also eating profusely, but that's good. We want everybody well fed. I haven't set up really the feeding queue for my pigs yet, so they've just been dying like crazy. We have a lot of bones and things left over. We also haven't found a lot of sources for iron. I know that down on the -4 here, we've got a nice little kind of paddock of iron that we can fiddle with a little bit, and I'll probably schedule that to be mined out as well, just so we can see the breadth of these kind of deposits. Now, other areas on this floor, it appears as though we have some gravel here, which would be nice for flint, but we aren't really using cook fires. We've already got stoves. We kind of jumped over that period of the game altogether. We've got another little iron deposit up here. Mr. Hootie Tot is up here doing God knows what. I have no clue what he's up to. I may actually consider, well, that's all the way on the other side of the river. I was thinking about making a mine shaft to get to that iron over there, but maybe I'll leave that alone for now, and we just won't concern ourselves with it. We also need to, that's what we can start working on. Let's make ourselves a hospital. A hospital. So let's move some mud here, and by move, I mean immolate and destroy. There we are. Make ourselves a little bit of space, and how we're going to handle the hospital is like so. So let me decide on a bricks color here that I like. I don't really see, well, let's go with a white and red kind of design, which is what you would expect from a hospital. I don't know if I want to build it down here. Let's take a look around for other open spaces. Maybe we'll have a better spot where we can throw this in. Really, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of amazing spots available, but I'll do it over here. Let's do it over here. Since there's stone on the ground anyways, we can't farm it. We can't really do anything with it. So let's go 5 wide, I think. Well, we'll go 7. There we go. We'll go 7, and we'll corner. And then from there, quite possibly, we'll go like so, maybe. And then in, and then out. And then there we are. And we will possibly run this 7 as well. There we are. And then 3. And 1 more. And then we'll go 7 that way. And I've probably miscounted already at some point, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm just royally screwing this up. There we are. And there we are. And that's going to be the ground floor of our new hospital. So we've used the white flag blocks. And then this is probably going to be a multi-floor building. Maybe I'll put in somewhere for people to live in it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And maybe the door can go right here. Right here. There we are. And so we've got ourselves a little door, and people should spring to work now. You can see already they didn't have a whole lot going on. Hopefully we have enough stone in these barrels. Well, we have 11 stone, so that'll kind of take the edge off. Hopefully somebody, I haven't really gone through and taking a look here. You'll see that I have been woefully lazy. I still have nobody in any group except for carries. These guys pretty much set themselves to the task of hauling all the time. Hopefully they can keep things stocked. I kind of treat them as though they're kind of our stock guys. If we were running a retail city right now, they are my noble stockers. They've got themselves on Big Joe. They've got themselves on the forklift, just taking care of business, making sure that my guys have enough stuff to build with at any given time. But you know, they get behind sometimes. And then I think I've got them enabled for gathering wheat and things, because really I didn't want anybody in my society to be sitting around doing nothing at any given time. I'm pretty sure I told them to build that lantern right there, so let me give them another hint and see if they will take it to heart and put that other yellow lamp there. There we are. And the illumination system, coming back, it looks like there haven't been any changes to the illumination system since I left. I've been gone about 9 days, and, you know, I'm really hoping that the developers will take it to heart and put in a day and night system. I really think that'll turn out very cool. I think it'll look nice. I think it will actually give the game a bit more graphical appeal. And honestly, if I had to, I would say that there's probably, I mean, I'm not sure, are there texture packs for this game? Do you guys know? I think somewhere on the forums on townsgame.com, I saw a section on like texture packs or something, so I don't know if the API has been opened up just yet to private developers or kind of general public developers, people that can design things as they see fit. I don't know if that's been opened up to everybody yet, but I hope it has, because it always seems like a good API design, like basically making your API open to the public, always seems to be just a great way to expand your game, and I hope that the developers have contemplated doing that. I really hope they have, because I think adding some texture packs to the game, I mean, I'm not sure how much money this game made. I don't know if it has, you know, the budget that Minecraft has or other builder games have, but, you know, if they're making money off this, it would be pretty cool if they kind of expanded the team a little bit, you know, opened up the API, made this a little bit more available to the open developer, the open sourcer, so that they can kind of add their own stuff. But then again, I could be completely misinformed right now, and it may already exist. That may already be something that I have available to me, and I've just been too lazy. Like, I didn't get into Minecraft mods until like I started playing Minecraft, I believe I started playing Minecraft on the exact patch when the Nether came out. So this is a little far back. I think that was like 1.0.5 maybe or something when the Nether was released. But that's when I started my Minecraft journey, and I'm still playing to this day. I am playing Feed the Beast on the side right now. If you guys are hooked up with the Facebook account, I post things all the time to the Facebook account, so really, if you check your Facebook every now and again, you really should jump on. If you look at the channel page, the Facebook page for Splattercat Gaming is listed on there. I post to it all the time, and if you like it, and you join the group, you'll definitely be at the front of the curve for what I'm working on at any given time. People that have been up in, oop, I need to expand that, hold on, there we go. People who have been up on the Facebook know that I've been really toying with the idea of doing a Feed the Beast playthrough. I know it feels trendy, but I'm kind of just being a trendy whore right now, and I'm having so much fun playing Feed the Beast by myself that really I kind of want to I want to start filming it. I mean, that's always the fundamental flaw that I run into when I'm gaming, is I'm like, well, I could be filming this right now, and I could share it with you guys here on YouTube. And every time I end up playing a game for a couple hours, I'm like, I should have filmed that. I really should have filmed that. Why didn't I film that gameplay experience? Because I monologue in my head anyways. Once you do this for a little while, and I know that I'm no old hat to the LP genre right now, I know that I'm still kind of digging in and kind of taking my licks and learning how this whole system works at the moment. But as I'm learning, I'm kind of finding that the commentary flows either way. And what I mean by that is that when you commentate over these little things, you tend to do it in your head anyways as you're playing. Like, I've noticed I've been talking to myself a lot while I've been playing games just to keep myself in practice. So if you're thinking about starting an LP channel, I'd say start by talking to yourself a lot, because although it's a little psychopathic and your roommates may look at you a little funny, talking to yourself is a great way to develop the ability to flow through your commentary. And so I've noticed that I do that anyways, that if I'm already commentating in my head or out loud, either or, if I'm already doing both, why not just flip on the fraps and share the experience with you guys? I have so much fun playing these games, and really, it amplifies it so much that I get to share it with you guys. I was really surprised by how much I enjoy sharing my gameplay experiences with you guys. So now let's throw in some pill cabinets here, just to kind of make sure that we have the supplies we need. Actually, we'll just do a bunch. There we go. And then other things that hospitals need. Hospitals need beds, right? So let's go ahead and we'll go to our furniture menu, and we'll take a look. I don't think a bed made of bones is really going to be, I mean, your bedside manner, irregardless of how amazing of a doctor you are, I think your bedside manner might suffer slightly if your patients were housed on beds made of bone. I mean, that doesn't set the bar very high for your hospital. I mean, it does, it says volumes about your craftsmanship and the way you treat your deceased, but really, on the other side of that argument is I really don't think that having beds of bone in your hospital is going to increase morale and keep people excited about surviving. They may think that they're walking into a death trap in that situation. So now that all that other stuff is getting built, I don't want my queue to get too far ahead of me. I have a horrible tendency, and you guys know that my tendency is always to get way ahead of myself in my building queue. So I am trying to take it a little slow right now. And so we got 2 layers of our new hospital built. I like the shape of the building. I could do something a little bit better, but really, for now, I think this is going to be okay. Other things that I'd like to do, maybe we'll kind of do an asymmetric type deal. Well, it'll still be symmetric, but it won't be, I guess, dividing. It won't be nice looking, basically, but maybe I'll put a door in here, and we'll have a little wing over here where somebody can live. Maybe put another door over here, and maybe another little wing. I don't know. It'll run into this building, though, so maybe we won't do that. You've also got to get rid of these gravestones at some point, because we don't want, just like the bed's made of bone, we really don't want to have gravestones next to our hospital. That, as well, just seems like a terrible idea. And it looks like they crash in the nearest available bed. How interesting. Well, that's cool. At least, you know, they aren't walking all the way back to their house to crash. And then other things that we need to put in here. Let's keep ourselves illuminated. It never hurts to be well illuminated. And when it comes to lighting, like, I live in a very dark, dingy apartment. Like, there's not a whole lot of lighting available. It's very difficult if you're ever doing any type of writing. And let me... There we are. We'll save. And if you're ever doing any type of writing or, you know, any type of literary endeavor, really, like, I'm working on a term paper right now on gravitational anomalies, which are actually pretty cool. I don't know if you guys knew this, but gravity is different on different places on the planet, and not necessarily in the way you would expect. Like, obviously, you would expect, if you went to the top of a mountain, that gravity might be lower, right? But what we find is that's not actually the case. And so I'm working on a term paper right now on gravitational differentials and things like that. Basically, looking at why gravity is different in varying spots, and also why the model doesn't always fit what we expect. So sometimes you would expect gravity to be higher, but it's lower, and just kind of looking into those things. And I'm really applying it. I don't know if you guys knew this, but there was a huge meteorite, a bolide impact in the Gulf of Mexico many years ago, geologically. I mean, geologically it wasn't that long ago, but for us as humans, we got Pinky the Merchant here. So before I go off on a ridiculous tangent, let's see what Pinky's got for us. Pinky, bring forth your supplies. Stay a while and sell me shit. Now, he's got a bunch of lamps and barrels and things of that nature. I don't know. None of this is really super appealing to me at the moment. I'm not really interested. I am not interested in your stuff, Pinky, but I will, however, deplete your cash. So there we are. I'll sell you some of my logs since that is a renewable resource. And other things, actually... What else do I have that I can give to this poor bastard? They don't seem to be very discerning about the things that they buy. So I guess I'll just sell him a bunch of logs. There we are. And initiate the trading! Alright. So as I was saying, there was a meteorite impact in the Gulf of Mexico, the Chicxulub crater, and it's actually kind of looked at as the indicator of why the Cretaceous mass extinction took place. You know, when at the KT boundary, there's this huge extinction where dinosaurs and kind of everything else just fell off the face of the earth. And that's always been kind of a big blank point for scientists, is like, what the hell happened right there? Well, not so long ago, a Pemex mining employee, looking for oil, of course, because oil is the grease that makes the world go around in this current time period. But he was looking for that kind of stuff, and down in there he found what appeared to be a huge meteorite crater. And it's actually the largest meteorite impact in the inner solar system that we've ever seen. So using telescopes and things and looking at the surface of Venus and Mars and planets like that, it is the largest meteorite impact that we've seen. So basically the Earth was hit by a massive meteorite, and we can tell because there's like this element called iridium that exists in there's this element called iridium that exists in meteorites. We don't have a whole lot of it on Earth, so it's easy to track when meteorites hit the Earth because there'll be like a giant layer of it laying everywhere. And so basically, a really big meteor hit us, and we think that's why the dinosaurs died out. And we had always kind of thought that the dinosaurs died out because of a meteorite impact, but we didn't know which meteorite impact, and until that was found, now we kind of have our culprit. So there are some people from Harvard and things that tend to disagree, but for the most part, scientifically, it's accepted as a fact. But, you know, there's still some cleanup work to be done. But anyways, you guys didn't come here to listen to a lecture on school, and I'm just kind of venting because really I have been so busy lately. Like, I have been just ridiculously busy with school, being out in the field. Writing term papers in the field, by the way, is no fun. I would not recommend it. But anyways, I'm home now. I am home now. I'm happy, and I'm so stoked. Like, really, I got home and like, I got home a couple days ago and I was like, man, I really want to record. Like, I was raring to go, but then I kind of sat down on the couch and blacked out. When you go on like 5 to 9 mile hikes across mountainous terrain for 9 days straight, every single day without a break, it tends to drain you, and you don't realize it till you get home. And what in the hell has happened here? Townies, what are you doing? What are you doing, Townies? You are killing me. Killing me. But anyways, let's see what Pinky's up to over here. I wish, and this is really maybe a little bar right here, developers, maybe a little bar that goes down next to your merchant that tells you how close your order is to being filled, like whether they've hauled everything to him yet and whether he's fulfilled his half of the bargain. You can kind of keep track of it by watching your gold tick up. We're pretty wealthy right now. I'm not gonna lie, we're doing pretty well as far as cities go. We definitely have a surplus, which, if anybody is familiar with politics and municipalities and things of that nature, you will find that having a surplus does not happen very often. It's kind of one of those things that from time to time happens, but really it seems like most of the time most places are broke. But then again, I'm from California, so we're always broke. We are just eternal. That's all you ever hear. Like, there's at least one article a day in every paper about how our economy is just like at the moment. So sometimes I think that people like whining about that kind of stuff are just like crying wolf, though. Who knows? You know, I'm a simple guy. I don't really look too far into these sorts of things. I don't know a lot about them, so I try not to express opinions about them because really, I'm a geologist, guys. I'm not an economist. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And so really, one of those important things in life is figuring out how not to talk out of your ass. I mean, I guess if you get really good at it, one of the skills you could have in life is being very good at talking out of your ass. It's just as long as nobody catches on, I guess. So let's put that right there. And now I've got a pretty cool idea for what I want to do with the roof, but we may have to save that for the next episode. We'll see how this goes. I do need to roof this off at the moment, kind of get it nice and laid out. I don't really know how tall I want this building to be. Maybe a little bit taller. I mean, we could do a top floor where people live, quite possibly. It might work out. I'm always looking for... One of the fun things that I like about this game is that you're always looking for new spaces for all your little townies to live. And that's also one of the downers. Like, really supplying space for townies to live is both kind of the bonus and the downer of this game. Like, you really spend a lot of time. You spend a lot of time trying to build housing. But as I left off, I forgot to put out my decorations. So let's see here. What are these? Maybe these are different. Oh, they're green. That's why they're not placing that lantern right there. Makes sense. Makes sense. So maybe I should have bought some lanterns here from Pinky. Ah, well. Mistakes are made. We don't cry about them. Spilt milk can easily be mopped up. There's no such thing as mistakes as long as you learn from them. So there we are. Well, I mean, I guess unless you murder somebody, like there are like, whenever I say that, there are kind of exceptions to that rule. There are a number of criminal exceptions. Like, that saying doesn't really work when it comes to criminality. It generally tends to work with artistic endeavors, but with criminality, well, once you've killed somebody, you pretty much killed somebody. You really can't go back on that one. There's not a whole lot of ways to revoke that action. So I guess it works in some respects, but not in others. So now we're there we go. So our next layer is done, and so now I kind of have a bit of a decision to make. And I sort of wish that I'd gone around and like made like a wood frame maybe or something. That might have been cool. Let's look into doing that. So we'll destroy you, we'll destroy you. We will also destroy you and destroy you. And then we'll go back over here and let's see what wood looks nice. Now, there's not a whole lot of wood models here that I'm really enthusiastic about using. But we'll give it the old college try here. And see what we come up with. And once those are placed, I'll get rid of these. And maybe this entire layer will be wooden. That might look a little bit nicer, look a little bit more rustic. It can also, it can be difficult to tell how a building's gonna look before you put it down. Like, on paper, some of this stuff looks amazing. And right now, I use that phrase, on paper, but I haven't actually planned out any of this for this episode. This is really just me kind of free building. Just kind of free blocking freely. Now, as I was saying though, many things kind of look good in concept, but then you end up with this kind of camel over here. Which, I use that term, you guys might not know what it is. I used to work in IT. A camel is basically a project that too many people are working on. So basically, like if you have a committee, like you have a group of people that are working on something, you tend to end up with results that are a compromise between like 50 different people, and that compromise usually sucks. It usually just doesn't work very well, and it's terrible, and because it's overcomplicated. It's trying to please too many people, and that's what a camel is. It's a project that is just trying to please too many people. And so that's really how I feel this building turned out over here. I might be being too hard on myself about that building, but I just am not a fan of it. Every time I see it, I just want to punch it in its face. If you could punch a building in its face. Which part of the building counts as the face? Is it the side with the door on it? Because this one would have two faces then, which would make it kind of a mutant building. But anyways, I'm going to lay down this first layer, and then we're just going to see how that looks by comparison to the rest of the building. And if it looks nice, we'll go ahead and we'll finish it off. We'll lay down the entire layer, and if it looks terrible, we'll ignore it for a little bit. So stepping back here, and actually, I don't think that looks too bad. I think it actually kind of adds texture to the building. So what we'll do is I'll finish that off. I will finish that off. There we are. So we're going to start destroying some blocks here. And just so everybody's doing something, no, not you, overhanging block. Nobody wants you. Nobody needs you. Nobody would like to look at you. So please just vacate the premises. If you could, if you would, if you please, if you don't please. There we are. So that layer right there is going to be laid down, and I think this is probably a good spot to break off this episode. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you so much for joining me here at the Nerd Castle. I am home for my excursion now. This is the first episode that is actually filmed, so if you're watching this on Tuesday, which is when I think I'm going to upload it, I made it yesterday. I made it on Monday, so I am back on a regular programming schedule now. What you see should be done about a day ahead of time, and so it should be a lot more in line with the current updates that are available for the games that I'll be playing. That out of the way, thank you for joining me. I'm really happy to be home and making entertainment for you guys, and I look forward to reading your comments down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends. It is always more fun with more people involved, so I would love to keep this community growing, getting larger, getting more fun, and you guys have done a great job at keeping it friendly too. Like, we've had conflicting opinions down in the comments and things, but there hasn't, in the most part, been any arguing or anything that I've needed to delete. It's been pretty amazing, and it's really cool that the community has worked out like that. So before I keep going too long, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care out there.